You know what I love? Trendy furniture. But you know what I hate is spending hundreds of dollars to get it. So what should I do?
How about we build that piece of furniture, and when we're done, your friends don't have any idea that you didn't buy it at the fancy store.
That sounds great.
I'm Rob Johnstone.
I'm Kristena Smith, and today we are going to show you how to make this tripod lamp, and it's a lot easier than you'd think.
So let's get started.
Sounds great. So here's what you need. 3 pieces of clear pine 1x3 lumber 6 feet long. It's easy to find in a bin at your local big box store, or you can go to a lumber yard. The other piece of wood you'll need is a length of closet rod 1 1/4 inches in diameter. You will also need what's called a lamp harp and light socket and a threaded mounting rod about 2 inches long. You can get that at a hardware store or order it online. Oh, and you'll need some lamp wire, but more on that later.
The 3 tools that we use are a handheld jigsaw, a drill driver, and a small belt sander. You can get the job done with a random orbit sander, but it will just take a lot longer.
The first thing we did was to cut the legs to length. Now, we'll mark the shape of the leg onto one of these pieces of pine. First, mark a line at 1 inch from the edge here and at 4 inches down from the top. Then connect the dots. Then go to the other end of the leg and mark a line at 1 inch from the outside edge. Now just use the other piece of wood as a straight edge to draw the long tapering line. All right, looks like we're ready to cut.
Exactly right. The first thing we need to do is get the jigsaw. We need to put a sharp wood cutting blade in it to get a clean line. Then we need to slide the wood down a little bit so we can get a clear shot at the line we'll be cutting. Then clamp it in place.
And these quick grip clamps work perfect for this task, but C-clamps or any other type are just fine too. Put the saw on the lumber and turn it on. This saw is battery powered, so you don't need to worry about dealing with the cord. I cut right next to the line, moving at a slow, steady speed.
The long cut is done exactly like the shorter one, except it's longer. Unlike the shorter cut, this one will require us to reposition the leg and reclamp it to keep the cut line clear of the workbench top.
All right, it's time to mark up these other 2 legs. Do we need to use the ruler again?
That would be the most accurate way to do it, but in situations like this, I like to use the leg that we made already as a pattern.
Great.
It's accurate and a little bit quicker.
All right, we've got these cut, but they're not looking so good. What are we gonna do?
No, they're not. But we're gonna use a sander to take care of that. We're gonna clamp them together, and then we're gonna use a belt sander to shape them and smooth them off, and then they'll all be uniform.
And this guy has a belt rather than a pad like in some of the random orbital sanders, and we chose a really rough grit to take off a lot of material all at once.
And that rough grit, while it makes sanding faster, it does mean that you have to be careful while you're doing it.
As you sand, move the sander smoothly back and forth on the cut face of the legs. Here, to make this go faster, we're sanding across the grain because it shapes the wood more accurately. Stop and check how you're doing as often as you think it's necessary. And by the way, hooking up your sander to the shop vac really is a good idea.
So as long as we're talking about this sander, let's go on and talk about how to make the leg connector. And let me tell you, whoever figured out how to make this piece is a real genius.
Was that you?
It is me, yeah. So we have to join 3 legs to form a tripod, which means, of course, that's a series of 60-degree angles. Let me show you what I mean. So, how do we turn a round closet rod into the leg connector? Well, we need to sand flat facets at 60 degrees to one another. And they're 3/4 of an inch wide on the piece. And then we drill a 3/8 inch hole down the center of that to mount the lamp hardware.
In order to safely and easily sand the facets onto the closet rod, you need to be able to clamp it securely to your work surface. If you have a bench with a vise, it's easy to do that. If you just have a flat work surface, you'll need to do what Mr. Genius is doing. Attach the cutoffs from the legs to the rod with screws, and then clamp the whole thing to the top of the bench.
As Kristena forms the facets onto the closet rod, the idea is to make a flat area that is about 3/4 of an inch wide, to match the thickness of the legs. Once one of the facets is done, reposition the piece and sand the next one.
Measure the appropriate length of leg connector and then cut it off with the jigsaw. Next, we drill a hole down its center. Use a 3/8 twist bit to drill into the end of the leg connector. I like to go about halfway in from one end and then flip it over and do the same from the other end.
Now the next thing we need to do is drill holes for the screws that will connect the legs to the leg connector that we just made.
But the trick is you don't want to go too deep.
Kristena used painter's tape to give her a stopping point for the holes. Because of the angle of the leg, you need to go shallower on the top set of holes and deeper on the second. Once Kristena is done with the 3/8 diameter holes, we'll use a skinnier drill bit to complete the hole all the way through the leg.
Now we're ready to attach the legs to the connector. We've got our leg clamped onto our workbench. Rob's just going to put some glue onto both surfaces, the connector and the leg, and then he's going to rub those together, and whenever they tack, he'll be able to drive the screw to attach it.
Now that we've attached the leg connector to the first leg, we've clamped this leg to the bench in a real-world orientation, and we're going to glue and screw it just like we did the other one.
Now we've secured our third leg. Rob's going to wipe off the excess glue, and we're going to cover up the holes with these little wood plugs.
Cool.
Now that the lamp base is done, all we need to do is mount this lamp hardware.
It's easy to do, and there are hundreds of YouTube videos that show how to mount the hardware and to wire it. But basically, what we need to do is put this threaded rod in the hole we made, and then we're going to super glue it in place, and then we'll run the wiring up through it, mount the hardware to the top, you've got yourself a lamp.
Now that the cord is in place, I'm just going to attach the rest of this hardware to that threaded rod, and we're going to tie a knot here in these wires to keep them from passing back through. One of the last things we have to do is attach the cord to this socket, and when you separate the cord, what you'll notice is one side is smooth and one side has some ridges on it. The ridged wire connects to the nickel colored screw, and the other one connects to the other. Here it is, our finished lamp. As you can see, we chose to paint this one, but you can choose any kind of finish you'd like.
In addition to the finish, you can choose any kind of lampshade that you want, any kind of color. That's one of the benefits of building it yourself. And it wasn't that hard, was it?
Nope.
And let me point out that you saved a lot of money compared to the designer stores. So I'm Rob Johnstone.
I'm Kristena Smith.
Thanks for watching.